Good evening. The Ohio Board of Public Health rocked the sports world with their recent updates. Brian Skronsky weighs in later tonight, and this rogue fugitive, Sean Christie, who was found hiding in the woods in Mansfield in 2018, well, he's back in the news. The Mansfield News Journal is here with us tonight to unload on the most recent updates in that story. Welcome to the OH.Report for Monday, August 3rd. I'm Don Bryant. In local news, Mansfield holds a rally for equality downtown. The rally was put on by the Mansfield Gay Pride Association and its board of directors and was held this past Saturday in downtown Mansfield. Association President Todd Rice said he was satisfied with the public response and happy that the event was able to be live streamed online. The live stream received more than 1,000 views. Because of COVID-19 regulations, they were not able to hold a festival, but could have a rally with social distancing measures and a mask policy in place. At least 100 people attended the event in person. And now let's check in with your local weather 3-day forecast. Ohio is in need of poll workers for the upcoming election. Ohio has nearly 9,000 separate voter precincts, and each features 4 poll workers. This means the 88 county boards of elections have to fill around 35,000 spots. These paid precinct officials receive ballots and supplies. They open and close the polling locations and oversee the casting of ballots throughout Election Day. For more information, visit our local Board of Elections website at the website below. Mansfield City Council is set to vote on declaring racism a public health crisis on Tuesday. A growing number of health departments in Ohio, and including Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, have declared racism a public health crisis. Richland County, Ohio has a population of 121,533 people, has a 14% population of people of color, and 8% of that are African American. With the City Council set to debate and vote on this tomorrow, we'd like to hear from you. Do you believe racism affects our public health? Comment in the comment section right here at the OH.Report below. Local farm owners showcase their property to the public. We spoke last week with Andy Vaughn and his partner Rich, owners of Cali Farmer at 705 Mansfield Lucas Road in Mansfield. They gave the OH.Report team a tour of their farm and shared details with us on what their business offers to the Mansfield-Richland County community. Check it out. I'm here at the farm of Andy Vaughn, and we're going to hear from him shortly in this interview. But right behind me is Madison South Elementary School. That's where I went to school as a young boy, and we used to come to this farm when I was a kid to pick apples from an apple tree. So to all my Madison South classmates, if you remember coming up here to pick apples, give me a shout out here in our comment section. But we're getting ready to hear from Andy Vaughn right now.
I got a job at a plant nursery, and a lady came through and said, can you help me out with some vegetable gardens. And I did, and that was our first client, and that's when we founded Cali Farmer, which we call ourselves an urban homesteading business, well, when we were in Los Angeles. I started a school garden program, and then I teamed up with another mom at another school, and then we created a district-wide school garden program, which is still in existence today. So that started off the garden education as well as our business of installing and maintaining vegetable gardens in South Los Angeles. We began looking at Zillow species, a bunch of vegetables, and then we're going to do a cooking demonstration. Well, actually it's communal cooking, so everybody will take part, and we're going to make Vietnamese spring rolls and a dipping sauce, and then we're going to try a bunch of Asian-inspired dipping sauces as well. We still would like to continue. If anyone needs help with their vegetable gardens, we certainly can do that. We do a little bit of landscaping, but we like people to come to the farm for classes, work groups or church groups, school groups, homeschooling. We're going to start doing some homeschooling stuff in the autumn, and we can tailor just about any class or tour to your liking.
And now join me in the sports corner with Storm Michael Tyson and Garrett Roy Jones. Take it away, guys.
Thanks, Dozer. As of right now, sports are good to go, and that means we're on the move. Very metaphorically, of course. Today we head up to Winford to cover the Royals. Last year they finished with an above 500 record, finishing 7-3 and taking a little slice of that conference championship pie. In the season finale, they whooped up on their inner city rival Bucyrus.
Speaking of Bucyrus, we'll be covering their practice as well. Relatively great year last year for the Redmen, finishing 5-5 with a season finale loss to Winford 40-7. Bucyrus hasn't beat Winford since 1997. To put that in perspective, me and Fatty over here weren't even born yet. Both teams look to bounce back for a postseason berth in 2020.
Thanks, audience, for being awesome as usual and tuning in. That'll do it for Garrett over here and Storm at the sports desk. Back to you, Donald.
And now we have a special update for you. Sean Christie, the rogue fugitive who was found hiding in the woods in Mansfield in 2018, has been sentenced to 20 years for threatening President Trump. Joining me in the studio earlier today was Mansfield News Journal reporter Monroe Trumbley to talk more about this. Joining me here at the OH.Report studio is Mansfield News Journal reporter Monroe Trumbley. Welcome to the studio.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're here today to talk about the Sean Christie case. Sean Christie, who was found in 2018 in the woods. Am I correct?
Yeah, he was found near Camp Moana, which is going to be turned into a public preserve through the county park district, but he was found in a ravine over there.
Oh, and was he originally from Ohio, or?
He was from Pennsylvania, and I did a little digging, but I read some other articles where it seemed as if he didn't show up for some sort of trial where a jury was being selected, and he had been accused of assaulting the then mayor of McAdoo, Pennsylvania. He fled, and then he started making threats online, such as, "I'm going to shoot the president in the head," as well as another district attorney, and the U.S. Marshal Service and the Secret Service got involved.
So, I mean, how did he make it this far to Mansfield, Ohio? I heard there was a massive manhunt, over, what, 200 officers involved?
Yeah, 200 officers, federal, state, local, around here for Richland County. Prior to the five-day manhunt around here, he had been on the lam, in total with the 5 days, for 3 months. He had been running from authorities through several states and into Canada at one point. I haven't traced on a map what the route was exactly, but it seems as if he went to Kentucky, Maryland, then went back to Pennsylvania, then came into Ohio, and then he was found.
I don't understand. So I'm trying to get an understanding of why it took so long to find him when he was in the woods here in Mansfield. I mean, we have all this new technology, but yet it took a few days. What do you think was going on with that?
Yeah, I wasn't here during September 2018, but it seemed as if he crashed a stolen utility truck around north of the Ohio 13 exit on 71. and then just made his way over to, off of US 42 to Fleming Falls Preserve, which is right next to Camp Mawata. I can't, I've definitely followed the coverage, but I can't necessarily answer why it took so long. Maybe, they brought in thermal imaging and drones later on in the search.
And I heard that Dog, the bounty hunter, was here in 2018 to assist the Mansfield Police Department and local authorities to try to track down Sean Christie. I don't know if he actually helped out or not, but I thought that was interesting. But I'll tell you what, I couldn't do it. I couldn't make it that long in the woods. I don't know how he did it. But did you think that 20 years is a fair sentence for him?
I read I haven't been following the trial, and he was convicted in November of about a dozen felonies, including threatening a president, carrying stolen firearms and stolen vehicles across state lines, and threatening other, law enforcement. But in a sentencing memorandum, prosecutors asked for 21 to 24, maybe 27 years, if I remember correctly. And they argued since he had 4 prior convictions, and he's about 28 now, he deserved a lengthy sentence. And it seemed as if the judge agreed in this case. He had been convicted of sending threatening, harassing emails to Sarah Palin when she was governor in 2012 of Alaska. And he'd also been, he was tried for that assaulting the then mayor of McAdoo, Pennsylvania. If I remember correctly, he was mad about snow plowing in his area, and I know that's a very contentious issue around Mansfield, but not to the extreme that Mr. Christie took it. But he whacked the mayor in the side with a stick because he was mad about snow plowing. That's according to the Morning Call, which did their reporting on it. So it seemed as if he's always been threatening or harassing someone, and so I think I don't think he's ever gotten this lengthy of a prison sentence, absolutely, but he has been, I think he was sent to jail for a year or two at the most until now.
Well, there you have it. Sean Christie, who whacked a mayor in the side of the head with a stick, I didn't know that, but was found in woods in Mansfield. For more information, where can we find your article?
Just go to mansfieldnewsjournal.com. It's right on the main page. It'll be in tomorrow's paper as well, Tuesday's paper. Yep.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Monroe. Thank you for joining us here at the OH.Report.
My pleasure.
And this week's Humane Society escapee in our Paul Shank redemption is the winner, Bo Gallowitz. Congratulations, Bo and Lori, for submitting your photo of that awesome looking dog there. Beautiful pose. If you have a pet that you would like to showcase for the Paul Shank redemption, make sure you submit them right here on the OH.Report. Congratulations, Bo. And now Brian Skronsky with an update from the sports world. Brian, take it away.
Thanks, Donnie. Like G-Man and Storm mentioned, high school sports are in full swing this week with official practices for fall athletics beginning on Saturday. Coaches, athletes, and trainers are working hard to get ready for the start of competition, but when contact sports like football, soccer, and cross country get ready to begin their regular season schedules, will they actually be able to jump through all the hoops outlined by the Ohio Board of Health? In an 11-page document released late Saturday night, a checklist for all contact sports competitions includes a COVID-19 test for every player, coach, trainer, and staff member 72 hours before every single competition. And they all must have the test results in hand before the start of each game. If even one test comes back positive, a team may not compete in their next game, and every member of the program must self-isolate until that week's canceled competition is over. The document goes on to say that spectators are not permitted at the venue during competition, though it later offers social distancing guidelines for fans in attendance, so it's all a little bit confusing, and we here at the OH.Report are working to get some clarification. What's crystal clear, though, is that while the government's office has not canceled fall sports in Ohio, they've certainly made it next to impossible for contact sports to happen. The cost alone for testing a football team for 10 games at $20 per test would likely exceed $10,000 and doesn't include pickup and transportation to an area facility to produce results. So who's footing the bill for all of this? And where are all the tests coming from? And the lab results? How is this all going to work? Did they even consider soccer teams who play more than one match in a 4-day stretch would have to cancel some of those just to meet the guidelines? And are all subject to being shut down by a single case of COVID, which the Ontario girls soccer squad is dealing with right now, where one assistant coach produced a positive test, so the entire squad is not allowed to practice for 14 days. We posted the Ohio Board of Health's document on our Facebook page last night and received an overwhelming amount of feedback that feels as though the restrictions have just gone too far. A petition formed in response to the testing requirements has almost received 50,000 signatures already, suggesting that it's unconstitutional to force these mandates on student athletes. As a huge supporter of high school sports who has seen firsthand how hard our local athletes and coaches have worked throughout the entire offseason just to get to this point, training with no sports balls, limited equipment, while wearing face masks, even during workouts and conditioning, social distancing at practice, I think it's really disheartening to know that they may have followed all the rules and conformed to meet all these wild guidelines, all to have that pulled out from under their season just for more rules and regulations to pop up. The top trend on Twitter in Ohio yesterday was, "I want a season." So hopefully, government officials in our great state see just how important sports are to its youth and their communities, and they let them decide if it's safe enough for them to play. Back to you, Donnie.
Moving on to our daily intelligence brief. Can I have 60 seconds on the clock, please? Ready? Let's go. Onions shipped to all 50 states are linked to a salmonella outbreak. SpaceX Dragon's space shuttle makes a successful return back to Earth. President Trump pushes for a delay in the November election. Republican Governor Mike DeWine says that ain't happening in Ohio. We're voting in November. Michael Jordan donates $2.5 million to combat voter suppression. Way to go, Mike. Dr. Anthony Fauci is now suggesting that people wear goggles to better protect themselves from the coronavirus. Wow. Ohio is set to send all voters absentee ballot applications before the upcoming presidential election. And so, my friends, I say to you, let's all get out there and let's vote. Vote, vote, vote. And my friends, that concludes tonight's report. Keep it right here at the OH.Report, your new hub for sports, news, politics, and more. Tune in every weekday here on Facebook and YouTube for even more updates. Good night, and I will see you tomorrow.